The mid-1980s saw a couple of low-budget releases that did nothing at the box office and did nothing to further his career. 1984's Marina and the Painted Ladies is only remembered by some today as Phil Hogarth met his wife on set. And I believe your last film of the early era was Marina and the Painted Ladies, which is where I believe you met your first wife.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that's a special period of time. Not so much for the movie, but yeah, I did meet my first wife. And we moved away to Spain, where I opened my bar,
Oh, right.
Tan and Ollie's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I have to say was a lot of fun, for a while.
Oh, okay. 1984 also saw the release of The Ordination of Philip Hinckley, known in the USA as The Assassination of Philip. His significant other, known in the USA as A Woman Scorned, was a romantic comedy about an elderly couple made in 1985. One scene with a plumber had the dialogue, "Pass me the pliers, snub-nose. Don't call me snub-nose." By the end of the 1980s, Flagg was beginning to make films that would become cult classics, especially Oliver's Tryst and Stench. Released in 1987, Oliver's Tryst, known in the USA as The Reckoning, is remembered well by some of its stars.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Pendergast. I'm here at the Bryn Masonic Hall, and it was here that John Flagg filmed his party scenes for the film Oliver's Tryst.
This is where the famous bedroom scene took place in Oliver's Tryst. Right, and when you were in Oliver's Tryst as a child actor, I believe,
Yep.
you used to go on holiday with the family.
Yes, we did. My parents got me that gig, and that was, I don't really remember much of that, but I remember that at that time is very different, because as a child actor, you wouldn't necessarily be taking it as seriously, and your parents really push you into it at that age, and you're kind of not sure whether that's what you want at the time. And then I took a little bit of a hiatus from it and then came back to it. And yeah, at that time I wasn't really sure about the craft of acting. I wasn't sure that was definitely what I wanted, but now I'm more sure of where I am and what I want to be.
Excellent, yeah. I believe it was filmed mainly at Harlech, which is a lovely, beautiful place in Wales, which I hold dear to my heart as well.
It's lovely.
Nice little place, beautiful beach. Right, so Martin, you were a child actor who had a small part in Oliver's Tryst in 1987.
Yes, that was my first role.
With James Kelsey.
Yes, yeah.
Nonetheless, can you remember anything?
I was too young at the time. It was my first role. I was pushed into it. I really enjoyed it. Everyone was really, really friendly and really, really got me involved. But I will admit it was so long ago. I can barely remember it. I just remember that on set it was either really, really cold or really, really hot. It was neither of the two. So the scenery was either really, really cold and we were all freezing, or it was really, really hot and everyone was pouring with sweat. It was never in between.
Oh, God. Not good at all. The following years, Stench was a slasher monster movie set in a campsite, which attempted to cash in on the Friday the 13th type of film. With its group of teens encountering a swamp monster, the set was very smelly by all who remember it. And then one of our, I've heard there's a famous Dutch collector by the name of Frans van Mortier that's interested in the videotapes, and but I believe there's another film you were in called Stench from 1988. Have you got any memories of that?
Yeah, I think that was more of the horror genre, weren't it, that one? I think I went more on the horror with that one. That was definitely different to what I was used to. It was mainly reacting to stuff, that was, so like reacting to certain spooks and scares that would go on within the
Yeah.
script. So sometimes there would just be a loud bang or a crash, and you'd be reacting to everything really. And yeah, it was that was a different experience, one which I quite enjoyed, to be honest.
Yeah, but this is Franz von Mortier. I know he's after videotapes, but I know now they're all warped and no longer any copies of this actual film in existence, are there?
There'd probably be very few. I'd be very surprised if there's any, to be fair. It's it's one of the I think it's become one of them rare films. Like it'd probably be like a retro thing now to try and get hold of. It'd be very, very difficult, I reckon.
So in Stench you played scout leader, and I believe you got killed off quite soon.
I did, yes. I was the leader, kind of scout leader there. Very, like, Friday the 13th and flames burning. Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh god, it's not
Bad
nice.
ending.
Chucked you on bonfire.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Not good. All the early films were on Video 2000, and there's none of them left in the world anymore.
No,
to play
that's
it.
right. No.
No.
Yes,
No,
yes, there is. You can get them on eBay for £250.
No, you can't actually. So I believe that one of the other films you were in was called Swamp Monsters, back from 19. When was that? 19. Sorry, I forgot. 1988. 88ish.
Something like that. Yeah, I think we filmed
80s.
some of it in 87, maybe.
Yeah.
Late 87. But yeah, that was another strange one. Yeah, and it was about a swamp monster, and it was called Stench.
Ah, yeah.
It was very smelly.
Oh,
Very.
beautiful. So
It wasn't very beautiful at all.
no, and any stills exist of that film, I believe now.
Thankfully, yes.
Yeah. It was stored in a loft and mice ate it.
Yeah, and nature will
We'll
always
take its
takes
course.
over. Yeah.
So a step back in time, you did some producing and behind the scene roles, and you were assistant in another film called Oliver's Tryst, and you met another young lad called James Kelsey, who was a young child actor at the time, and you were an executive producer in a film called Stench.
That's correct, yeah.
With their swamp monsters, I believe.
Yeah, I've always had a love of the horror, besides the bizarre and weird stuff. But I've always had a love of the horror. I mean, crikey, who wouldn't want to work on Stench anyway, you know?
Yeah.
My goodness, absolutely fantastic. Loved it. And the makeup. Have you seen the makeup?
Yeah, really
Wow.
good. Yeah,
Crikey.
excellent film.
Absolutely fantastic.
Stench was filmed here. You wonder why. Behind me is one of the cabins which were actually where one of the first victims of the film Stench stayed. This is a driveway where the chase scene took place. And this is where one of the famous murders took place in the hot tub. To the south of the castle, just in the next bay, is where scenes for the sea zombie were filmed. Did you know, whilst the dunes nearby were actually used in the Monster of Cairo, and the estuary featured as a backdrop in Stench? We will see these very shortly. The second unit was also responsible for filming several scenes in this estuary for the horror film Stench in 1987, while the speedboat chase for Richard Cordoban, CIA, was filmed just around the bay towards Port Maddox. in 1995. John decided to take a sabbatical, touring the world at the end of the 1980s and early 1990s, spending time at a circus in India. He used some home movie footage to make the first of a series of documentaries, a major departure for someone who lived for escapist drama and horror. In 1994, he released the first of these documentaries for television, this being Clown Without Makeup. Sadly, during conversion, the process failed, and it became too pixelated to watch. The following is the only footage known to exist.
From the ground, 4 miles from the ground, because I'd rather stayed in central London and got a tube out in a day and then found it about getting back, but I got one nearer the ground anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, it was a gamble. It wasn't something I was intended to spend any money on whatsoever.
2 years later, he combined his documentary making with the memories of his blue period for the short film Here Is the Nudes. Apart from a couple of photographs, no footage is known to exist. To fulfill his contract with the distributors, John had 2 more features to make. The first turned out to be straight-to-video release Richard Cordoban's CIA in 1996. This was a very poor film, even by his standards, and featured the wonderful dialogue of "I just got bitch slapped by a tree." Behind is a bridge that was used in Richard Cordoban's CIA, in which he jumped off the bridge. The second turned out to be a now cult classic, The Ballad of Leo Slayer and Sister Nolan. This was a bit like a spaghetti western mixed with Bonnie and Clyde. Although made in 1997, it was not released in the UK until 2005. Dialogue included, "I like my pizza fully loaded. You mean terrible like Herbie," with Lindsay Lohan. In between these 2 features, Flagg made the tech noir thriller Day to Day in 1997. And the mockumentary How'd You Like Those Apples in 1998. Amazingly, the film exists in full and can be watched on YouTube. Watch it and see if you're as baffled by it as the actors who appeared in it.